Hi everyone! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's time to put some makeup on my face again today. As you guys may well know, today is Valentine's Day, or the day that this video is going up is Valentine's Day. You may like to be reminded, you may not. Either way, some of you may want to put on makeup, whether it's for you or for date night. In my case, I'm probably going to be sitting on the couch watching plant videos and eating a bowl of popcorn. But for those of you lovebirds who are much less cynical, this video is for you because I'm going to be creating a really cute, sweet, natural, glowy makeup look using Korean beauty makeup products. Now, a lot of the products that I will be using today were very kindly sent to me from Stylevana. I've been working with them for the past several months and I've just been really enjoying using Asian Korean beauty skincare and makeup. Stylevana is a website where you can purchase Asian Korean beauty skincare and makeup products for a affordable price. On top of that, you can save 10 to 15% off your order if you use the code INF10 Kikay on your purchase, and all the links for all the things will be found in the description box down below. This video is not sponsored by Stylevana, but these products were sent to me by them, and the code is a commission code. So do with that information what you will. For now, I'm gonna be putting some makeup on my face. Nothing too drastic, I hope. And I'm gonna have a bit of a play with a lot of new products, actually. I haven't tried a lot of these. And some of the makeup products that I will be showing were also sent to me from Stylevana in previous months. So it's almost a full face of Korean beauty makeup. I'm excited to get some makeup on all of this. So let's just do it, shall we? Do you want to be closer? I don't know. I don't know if I want you to be closer. Let's just leave it at that. I'm gonna put some makeup on my face. So I already do have some skincare on my skin. But I'm going to go in first of all with some of this Heimish Cica Live Repair Cream. This was sent to me from Stylevana for last month's collaboration video, and I've been using it ever since. It's a really, really beautiful, not thick cream, but it's very, very hydrating and moisturizing, and it smells really nice too. It's not too thick or slippery or like greasy, oily type feel. It's just a really, really nice cream. It's almost pore filling too. Alright, I'm going to go in with a base for the eyeshadow, and this is not Korean beauty, but I am going to be using a combination of the Zoeva Longwear Pearl Eyeshadow Fix Primer, and then over the top of that, because this doesn't actually provide much coverage, I'm going to go in with some of the good old Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer. So the makeup look that I'm going to go for today is probably going to be something not too out there, but I feel like if you wanted to go for a casual, low-key date night type look, this is what I feel like that would be. So I'm envisioning in my head that the face makeup itself is going to be not too full coverage, not too heavy, not too thick. Because if you're gonna get lucky on your date night especially, you don't want to be going smearing makeup absolutely everywhere. If you're picking up what I'm putting down. So we're gonna go a nice balance of makeup being there and you can see it, but not being too heavy or full on. So now that I've got my eyeshadow base on, I'm gonna actually be using this Pony Effect eyeshadow palette. It is so, so pretty. Look at those pinks in there. There's a bit of glitter. There's a bit of a brown shadow there that you can use to deepen up the look, a bit of this nice maroon. So what I think is I'm gonna go in with some of these pinks, deepen it up with maybe some of this maroon, and then go in with a little touch of shimmer on the center of the eyelid. I think that's a good plan of action. So first of all, I'm gonna start on my transition and my crease work, then we'll go on from there. So I'm taking this Morphe M433 blending brush, and I'm just gonna take it into this shade here and blend that into my crease. So I'm starting off with a lightest shadow, and I'm just gonna fluff it and blend it out absolutely everywhere, all over my lid, all over my transition, and kind of lightly buff that up close to my brow bone as well. What I really like about this palette is it's got a really large mirror in it. Very, very nice. It's a good size palette as well. It feels like a really good quality palette. It's made of plastic, but it does have a really nice mirror. It feels quite hefty, but not heavy in a bulky type of way. And I just feel like the shades, are really thought out quite well in this palette as well. This is blending out really super smoothly and really nicely. It's a lighter color, and lighter colors tend to not really show up on my skin, but this is really kind of showing up there. I kind of like it. I think I will bring you in closer so you can see what I'm doing. I think that'll do. That's as close as you get. Right, I'm gonna take the darker pink shade in the palette here. I'm just gonna work my way through these pink shades. This is a tighter blending brush. This is the JH33. And I'm going to focus the shade tighter into my crease and not fluff it out as much as I did that first initial pink shade. Can't really tell if it's showing up or not, to be honest. I feel like that pink isn't as pigmented as the first shade I laid down. Anyway, that's okay. Maybe they're just too similar of colors to actually show up. I think I need to go a little bit darker now, so I'm gonna take the next darkest pink shade, and I'm gonna only focus this on the outer corner of my eye. I'm gonna start deepening up this look and making it look a little bit more sultry and flirty and sweet. I feel like these are definitely shades that you need to pat on and not blend on, because they kind of just blend right off, if I'm being honest. Now this look is kind of achieving what I was hoping for, with the pinks getting darker and darker, but not in a very not in a very bold type of way, which is okay. Like the pinks aren't bold, they're more of a soft, dusty, smoky type pink. But now I'm gonna go into this darkest shade here. It's more of a maroony, burnt pink, dark burnt pink type shade. And I'm taking it into a smaller tipped blending brush, or it's not really a blending brush. This is the JH38. And I'm gonna focus this shade on the absolute outer corner of my eye and use that to start to deepen up the look. Okay, I must say this brown shade isn't very pigmented. Like it's showing up, it's kind of showing up, but it's not really as pigmented as I would like. And I'm really picking up a lot of product here. I suppose this palette is good for like subtle type looks, as the shades are quite subtle themselves, but as far as the formula goes, it's not really doing much for me. I'm really trying to work with this palette, you guys. I'm really trying to make it work, but it's not doing too much for me. Nope, not really doing anything. Maybe if I take up some of this brown, the deeper brown shade now, I was using that one before. Maybe if I take up some of this, it'll stick. Okay, that's kind of helping. That's kind of looking like I want it to look. Okay, I'm feeling extremely underwhelmed by this palette, I must say. Not really happy with it. It's a shame, it's such a pretty palette, it's just not really doing very much for me. So I think now I just want to take a bit of that shimmer and pop that in the center of my lid. So I'm going to pick that up on a packing brush. I'm going to spritz it with a bit of setting spray, and I'm going to pat that on the center of my lid. Okay, that's a really nice shimmer. It's not very smooth though. Okay, that's a really pretty shimmer, I must say. It's actually really stunning, but I'm not gonna say it's the saving grace of this palette, because I don't know. I probably wouldn't recommend purchasing this palette just for the sake of getting this shimmer, because you can find this from plenty of other palettes out there. There we go. I kind of made it work. Okay, in the time it took to apply that shimmer to the other eye, the shimmer on this eye is kind of faded and ended up all over my cheeks. I regret to say I'm not having an incredibly good time with this palette. Just taking some of that brown shade again, because that's the only one that actually shows up. And I'm going to blend that shimmer in with the outer corner of my eye. Just transition the two together. All right, that'll do for the eyes for now. I'm gonna go in with my face base. Just to clean up some of that shimmer under the eyes, I'm gonna take some of this Fruity Blueberry Hydrating Toner, just on a bit of a cotton pad, and then use that to clean up the shimmer fall out under the eyes. And because that toner would have probably swept away not only the shimmer, but also any other skincare that I applied under the eyes, I'm gonna go in with some of the Good Molecules Yerba Mate Wake Up Eye Gel. I just want to apply a little bit of this under the eyes. This is a new product of theirs, formulated to revitalize and energize the eye area. And heaven knows that I need that. If you guys also wanted to purchase any Good Molecules, you can find that link in the description box down below. I've been a long-time user and lover of Good Molecules products, and I would very happily recommend them to anybody to use. And they're not only effective, but they're also very affordable skincare as well. All right, now let's go into the face base. This is not Korean Beauty, but it is an anti-aging radiant foundation. I did have a cushion foundation that Stylevana sent to me several months ago, but it's just much too light for me. I feel like their darkest shade of foundation is still not dark enough for me. So I'm going to be using that as a highlight today. But for foundation, I'm just going to use some of this L'Oreal one. I like the formula of this foundation. It's actually quite light and not too heavy or full coverage, but I think the shade itself is too light for me, but that's okay. I've got a cream shading stick that Stylevana sent me to use, so I'm definitely going to be utilizing that. This foundation is just a tad bit too light for me. All right, I just wanted something to even out the skin tone. I didn't want too much coverage at all. And like I said, I have this cushion foundation that Stylevana also sent to me. It's a very, very nice formula. It's just the shade of it is too light for me. So what I'm going to use that for is a bit of under eye highlighting. Not so much as a concealer per se. I don't feel like I need too much concealed under there at the moment. Or maybe I do, I'm just not. I just don't care, really. That is such a nice formula. This is the Moonshot Cushion Foundation. This, just for reference, this is the darkest shade they have, and this is in the shade 301. So I feel like the makeup on Stylevana would unfortunately be only suited to people with a much lighter skin tone than myself. I love the skincare and I love the other face products, but I'm afraid as far as foundation goes, it's probably not the ideal place for me to purchase complexion products, if that makes any sense. It's just not very inclusive at all as far as shade range goes, but if you are within the shade range of the products that they provide, they're very, very nice formulated products and they work beautifully. So there's just that to be aware of. All right, now that that's blended in quite nicely and I'm looking quite ghastly, I'm gonna go in with this shading stick to put back a bit more warmth to my face. So I'm gonna be using this shading stick. This is from the brand called I'm Meme, or I'm Meme, hopefully. This puts back a bit of warmth to my skin. So it's not a very dark shade, but that's okay. I suppose I can make it work. Now I'm just thinking with that dark brown shade in the eyeshadow palette, because it's so light and not very pigmented at all, I wonder if I could use that as a bronzer powder and just apply that really super lightly to the cheeks. But I'm gonna go in with some cream blush first because I have a liquid blush that Stylevana also sent to me. So I'll apply some of that first, then try that eyeshadow as a bronzer. Maybe. It's just kind of how my train of thought is going at the moment. I don't know if it's my lighting, but I'm looking very white. Let me try and fix that. There we go. That's probably a bit better. I think it is the lighting. I didn't look as white and ghastly in person, but my skin is still looking fairly white. So I might go in again, maybe with another bit of that shading stick, just to try and deepen up this skin a bit. I do have melanin under there, honey. I'm not this white. I must say I do like the way that this foundation and the other cushion foundation that I used under my eyes, I like the way that they are sitting together or blending into the skin together. My skin's looking quite, it's quite matte actually, but still not dry looking. I think that definitely has something to do with this Heimish repair cream. The base is always key, I feel like. Personally, that's what I think anyway. I do have a little bit of warmth and shape back to my face. So now I'm gonna go in with some blush. Now this one I'm actually kind of interested about. This is the Mole Queen New York, I think. McQueen, not Mole Queen. McQueen New York Air Cotton Tint. It's in the shade MLBB Coral. And I'm not quite sure how strong this is, so what I'm gonna do is apply it to the back of my hand, pick it up with the sponge, and apply it to the skin from there. Ooh, it smells quite nice. It smells like lollies. Okay, it's very, very subtle. It's so subtle you can hardly see it. I might try applying that directly to the skin, and hopefully I didn't just F up my makeup. Ooh, that's nice. That is so subtle. I like that. Oh, that's sweet. It's very subtle though, but I must say I do like it. I do like a subtle makeup moment. I don't know if it's just the tone of this product or my skin's too dark for it to be showing up, but I've applied a fair bit to my skin and it's still kind of just barely there. But I kind of like that, quite nice. I'm not applying any extra product on the rest of my face. I just want a bit of color, like just to balance out this washed out facade. So I'm taking whatever product is left on the sponge and just kind of patting that into other areas of my face. All right, now for the lips. Now for the lips, they're looking rather crusty. So I'm just gonna take some of this Laneige Lip Sleeping Balm. I don't use it for only when I'm sleeping. I use it as a lip balm and it's beautiful. This is also from Stylevana. And I'm just gonna let that sit like a lip mask while I'm doing the rest of my makeup, and then I've got a lippy to use as well. So now going in with a bit of bronzer. Well, bronzer, I'm gonna use that brown shade in the eyeshadow palette, maybe just some of this right here, and I'm going to tap off a lot of the excess and hopefully use that to warm up the cheeks. You know, one of the good things about using a brown that you used as an eyeshadow, also as a bronzer, if it works for you, like on your skin tone, it kind of brings a bit of cohesion from the eyes to the rest of the face, so it's not like all different products on the rest of the face. Does that make any sense? It's just kind of how my brain wavelengths work. So as you can see, the brown on my outer part of my eyes kind of matches the shading I have going on my cheeks. So it feels kind of like smooth and cohesive. Now, if you do end up using a eyeshadow as a bronzer, like I'm doing right now, you gotta make sure that you really are only picking up a little bit and tapping off all the excess, otherwise you'll end up with like uneven marks on the skin. Uneven marks on the skin of where you first patted your brush. So it's just easy to take up a little bit at a time, apply a little bit at a time. If you want more, you can build it up, but don't go in ham all at once with a product. And this just probably goes for any product, regardless of whether it's an eyeshadow or a bronzer or a blush or anything like that. Just take up a little bit at a time and build the pigment up. So I suppose that brown eyeshadow is good for something. It's very, what should I say? It's very smooth and not very pigmented. So it works well as a face complexion product because you can build it up slowly. Whereas with eyeshadows, I mean, I don't know. It's just, it's okay as a bronzer, I suppose, because it works on my skin tone, but I would not recommend the palette as an eyeshadow palette in itself. I must say, I'm sorry, but it's the case, and I'm always honest with my subscribers. Okay, my face has been warmed up quite sufficiently, I should say. I have a blush that Stylevana also sent to me. This one is the Hamish blush. It's in the shade Antique Berry. It's in the shade Antique Berry, and it came with this little brush right here, but I mean, who even uses this brush? I know I don't. I'm gonna take a buffing blending blush brush, and this blush kind of has not only a pink tone to it, but it also has a bit of a shimmer. So I'm going to be using this as a bit of a highlight as well. I'm going to take it on the JH04 brush and apply this product to the high points of my face, providing myself with a little bit more of a flirty pink sweet look. what was that? I'm gonna buff and blend that on the apples of my cheeks as well. Kind of like shiny cheeks. You don't have to if you don't like it. I like it. It's my face. I can put makeup on it where I like. I mean, why am I so defensive? I don't have to be defensive. No one's attacking me. All right, I suppose that'll do for the face. I'm really liking the way that it looks. Very sweet, very glowy. Now I do want to finish off the rest of the face. I've just looked at myself in the mirror, and I think maybe my under eyes here are just a little bit not light enough. So I'm going to, what am I going to do? I'm going to pick up a tiny little bit of concealer, just a little bit on my sponge, and use that to lighten up the under eyes, just in the absolute corners over here, just a little bit brighter. I like that. Okie dokie, to finish off the eyes, I'm going to, can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to pick up that palette again. Just so I'm not too majorly disappointed again, I'm going to just take up some of this shade here and blend that under the lower lash line. Then I'm gonna call it a day. You know what? I lied. I do want to take up some of this pink shade here, or maybe this one, the lighter pink shade here, and maybe it would help if I got a clean brush, and I'll take some of that, and I do also want to blend that under the lower lash line. And I think to lighten up the inner corners of my eyes, I do want to go in with a little something. So I might take some of this shimmer, see if that's any good, see if it adheres to the skin. Ooh, I suppose it's a little touch or a whisper of something, you know? Not bad, not bad. I might take some of that shimmer as well that I put on my eyelid and apply that. Ooh, that's a bit better. That's kind of the pop I was looking for. And I'm gonna take any excess left on the brush and kind of touch that under the brow. There we go. I suppose that'll do for the eyeshadow. I'm gonna finish off with some mascara. This is the Heimish Smudge Proof Mascara, also sent to me from Stylevana. I really super love this mascara. It is quite a wet formula, so you gotta make sure that you scrape off all the excess product on the brush before you go in with it, otherwise it will smudge everywhere. The plus side on that is, if it does smudge, you just gotta let it dry and it's quite easy to scrape off the skin. But I would rather avoid doing that as much as possible, and I'm just gonna scrape off the product off the brush before I go in on my eyelashes. I really like this mascara. It's very lengthening and volumizing. It doesn't come out clumpy either or too spidery. It's a really nice formula and it doesn't smudge everywhere. I've found a lot of mascaras smudge on my lower lash line. This one doesn't. If it does kind of like deteriorate throughout the day, it might leave like a few little specks of mascara on my cheek, but it doesn't smudge everywhere. Also, it's a very, very easy to remove product. At the end of the day, I just wet a cotton pad and apply it to my eyes and it just wipes right off. Like, it comes off in pieces. It's not really a tubing mascara, but it comes off so much cleaner and easier than any other mascara that I've ever used. So would definitely recommend this mascara. I'll leave it linked down below as well, even though it was in my last Stylevana collaboration video. All right, now I did smudge on my eyelid, but I'm gonna let that dry and then I'll flake it off later. While I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm gonna go in with some lipstick. Just clean off a bit of that balm that I applied before. It's a creamy satin lipstick in the shade Coral. It smells so nice. It smells like, remember those, were you one of those kids that had those scratch stickers, and when if it's a picture of a grape, you scratch it and it smells like grapes, or it's a picture of an apple, you scratch it, it smells like apple? That's what this scent reminds me of. Leave a comment down below if you know what kind of stickers I'm talking about. Those were my favorite when I was a kid. They were such a treat to have. So anyway, I'm gonna go in with some of this lipstick. Ooh, she's bright or whatever. It's a very smooth formula, quite comfortable on the lips. It's not too slippery or glidey or slidey. Very easy to apply as well. I like that. It's very bright. It's a lot brighter than I thought it was gonna be. But if you did want like a bit of color on your lips, but you kind of wanted to tone it down, because must say, I don't think it quite goes with this eye look, but I still do want a bit of color on my lips. So what I'm gonna do is take a bit of this paper or tissue, take a bit of this tissue and just take off the excess product and leave myself with a bit of a tint on the lips. Actually, speaking of tint, I want to try some of this McQueen New York air cotton tint that I used on my cheeks, and maybe use a bit of that on my lips, see if that goes, see if it works. It's kind of the same color, to be honest. Feels nice, feels smooth, it smells the same. You know, it's probably the same product, to be honest. It's from the same brand. It's just one's in lipstick form. Now that the mascara has kind of dried, see how easy it is to take off? Just comes right off. And so does the eyeshadow. I'm gonna reapply that eyeshadow to my lids and I'll be right back. Now I forgot I had this eyeliner also sent to me. This is also from the brand McQueen New York. It's a waterproof pen eyeliner and it has a tip that I actually really like using. So I wasn't gonna go in with eyeliner, but just for the sake of this video, I will apply eyeliner just to use it. It's quite easy to use actually. I only want to go in with a really thin line. That's the finished look. I had a few hits and misses with this makeup look. The lips, I must say, the combination of the eyeshadow to the lips is definitely not something I would go for, but I just use those lipsticks because that's what was sent to me from Stylevana. I'll probably end up changing these lips to something a little bit more sweet and pink than bright orange. I loved most of these products. Just a quick recap. The lipstick's a really nice formula, very smooth, easy to apply. Maybe not quite the shade that I would like to wear on my lips. In person, it looks like almost a muted pink in the bullet, but it applies a lot more neon than I thought it would, so there's that. The Air Cotton Cheek Tint, well, it doesn't say it's a cheek tint, so you can use it for maybe the lips and the eyes. It's a lot more neon than I would probably like on the lips as well. On the cheeks, it applied a really nice tint. It's a barely there type makeup product, so if you wanted a really natural makeup look type day, that's a really good one to go for. It blends in really nicely, but again, it's something that you have to build up because there's not a huge amount of pigment in it. The shading stick blended out really super nicely. I can definitely still see it on the skin. It's very smooth, very creamy. I don't know how dark their shades go, but judging from the other face complexion products that they have, I don't think they would have really super dark shades. I probably would have chosen one that's maybe a shade darker than this one. Formulation wise, it's beautiful. Shade wise, not quite for me, needed a little bit darker. The eyeliner was nice. It's very, very opaque, very easy to apply. It says it's waterproof. Waterproof is always good. Love that for me. It hasn't smudged or anything, so that's really nice. It's got a really nice tip, so would recommend that one. The blush, it's a nice blush. It provides a bit of color and a bit of shimmer. It's a pretty standard blush, I would say, shimmery blush. If you like a blush with a bit of a gold undertone, does have a bit of gold undertone, I would recommend this one. Really nice. And the last one, which I did not expect to be as disappointed with this palette as I was, but I wouldn't recommend this palette. I was very underwhelmed by it. It has a beautiful color story. It's got a nice mirror in it. The packaging is beautiful. I mean, look at that. But I'm afraid all the thought was put into the packaging and the aesthetic of the palette rather than the formulation of the eyeshadows themselves. They just kind of... how do I say? If you want a really subtle eye look, and the color story is subtle in itself, but I want the option to be able to make it a bit bolder if I wanted to. But the formulation of this palette kind of decided for me that I wasn't going to have a very deep, dark, bold eyeshadow look. The shimmers are kind of... with that type of description, take it or leave it. It's a pretty palette to look at, but I wouldn't recommend it for the formulation of the shadows that I did use. That brown was nice as a bronzer. It kind of warmed up my cheeks a bit. It was quite nice, but again, as an eyeshadow, it just wasn't there. It didn't quite do it for me. So anyway, that's my little mini review on the products that I used today. All the other products that I used are from various other places or things that were sent to me in previous months from Stylevana, and if I haven't talked about them, it's because I like them. So now before I do end this video, I'm going to change the lippy just to show you guys. I don't know, it's kind of clashing right now. So I do want to change the lippy and show you that I do actually know how to apply makeup. I'll be right back. There we go. That's a bit better. That makes me feel a lot better about my makeup actually. It just goes to show that the right combination of lipstick to eyeshadow can either make or break a look. I am wearing the Juvia's Place satin lipstick. This one is in the shade 2020. This is from their nude lipstick collection, and I absolutely love this lipstick. I mean, it just pairs so nicely with the eyeshadow that I did. It makes me feel a lot better about my makeup, to be honest with you. So yeah, that is my sweet, flirty, natural, well, it's not very natural. I am wearing a fair bit of makeup, but I mean, it's not too out there, right? Like, I don't have the makeup caked on my face, which is what I used to do, but now I'm just like, it's there, it's sweet, it's flirty, it's cute, you know? So yeah, that's this video. I've completed what I said I would do in this video. So having said all that, thank you guys for watching. Like it if you did, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. So now that I've got my eyeshadow base in, I'm gonna go, but also any other skincare that I applied under the eyes earlier on. I'm gonna go in with some of the good